everyone, welcome back to True Crime and Wine. I don't have wine, I actually have sparkling water. I just haven't been in the mood to drink lately at all, so I'm not drinking. But welcome back to True Crime and Wine. This week we're talking about a 24-year-old bride-to-be that vanished on the campus of Yale University 5 days before her scheduled wedding. As I was taking my thumbnail for this video, I realized I was wearing white, and I was like, oh my god, I'm wearing a white sweater. And in my true crime, it's about someone that was gonna get married, and I didn't plan it. I didn't wear this sweater because it's like a wedding true crime. I actually just wore this because I just got it, and it's super cute, and I kind of feel weird now that I'm wearing it. But anyways, today we're talking about the vanishing, which ended up being a murder, of Annie Lay. She was 24 years old. She was 5 days away from getting married to her college sweetheart before her body was found the day of her scheduled wedding. So fucked up. So fucked up. Someone emailed me this, and I've never heard of this case before, so I typed it in. And honestly, there's like really not, it's not like when I type in one of these serial killers and there's 17 different articles and 550 different videos and yada yada. There was like barely anything on this murder, but I got enough information to tell y'all that this case is heartbreaking. So goddamn heartbreaking. So let's start from the very beginning. Annie Lay was born in San Jose, California in 1965. 1985, bitch. She would not be 24 years old if she was born in 65. 1985. She was born into a Vietnamese American family. She spent a lot of time living with her aunt and uncle. In high school, she was valedictorian and was also voted one out of the 2 students in her high school to be the next Einstein. And for anyone who doesn't know who Einstein is, it's someone who is smart as discovered things and is ultimately famous for discovering things. So basically, she was a smarty pants. She got $160,000 in scholarships and attended college at the University of Rochester. At the University of Rochester, she studied cell development biology and had a minor in medical anthropology. At college, she met her college sweetheart, whose name was Jonathan Wadowski. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly. You know, I'm not the best at pronouncing people's names, but his name was Jonathan. We'll call him John. You guys know I hate a name John, but we'll call him John. John and Annie got engaged and were set to marry on September 13th, 2009. After college, Annie got accepted to a post-grad program at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, which is an Ivy League school. Her fiance, John, got accepted to Columbia to study some shit in mathematics. Clearly, this couple is fucking smart. They're both attending grad school at Ivy League schools, because I believe Columbia is an Ivy League school too. So they're both basically together and probably gonna change the world together. Because I know my ass ain't getting accepted into no Yale or Harvard University. I think I got it fucking waitlisted for Suffolk University, which is in Boston. It's really expensive. God bless I didn't get in, because I don't know how I would have ever afforded that. I would have been buried 6 feet deep in college bills. Should I take my glasses off? Because the glare is like really distracting. Kind of, but it's like I also feel like I'm gonna have the glasses marks, like, you know, when you wear glasses for a long period of time and it indents your face. I feel like that's what's going. I'm just gonna take them off. If I have the glasses marks, I apologize, okay? I don't know. I probably need a pound of my nose too because the glasses were there, but I distract myself from the story. Sorry. Annie was very short. She was barely 5'1", she was 4'11", which is funny because I was 4'11" at one point. My driver's license literally says 4'11" on it. I've sprouted to 5'1", but for a long period of my time I was also 4'11". Even though she was short, her friends described her as having a very big personality. She was smart, she was energetic, she was a ball of fun, but she was also very particular and paid attention to details. Details in all aspects of her life. And she was very, 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 very focused on having a perfect wedding. She wanted everything to be perfect. Her hair, her makeup, her wedding dress, the invitations, the location. She was in love and excited to marry her college sweetheart, the love of her life, but she also wanted everything to be perfect. At Yale University, Annie studied pharmacology, pharmacology. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the definition at the bottom of the screen because I don't know how to say it. but this is what she studied at Yale. She would monitor the effects of medicine on mice at laboratories on campus. One of the laboratories was located at 10 Amistad Street. On September 8th, 2009, Annie woke up. She left her apartment. She got on the Yale Transit bus to Sterling Hall on campus of Yale University. Security cameras caught Annie walking into a lab building, but none of the 70 cameras that were on looking the building, in the building, or looking in or outside of the attached garage caught Annie leaving the building. Not on September 8th and not on the day after on September 9th. It's like she fucking vanished into thin air, literally. On 9 p.m. on September 8th, Annie's roommate called police to let them know Annie was missing. And the reason she did this is Annie was very present. She communicated all the time with her roommates, to her boyfriend, to anyone she was close to let them know that she was okay, that she was good, that she was on her way home, that she was coming, that she was doing this, that she was doing that. When Annie did not come home, her roommate was like, that's not like her. She wouldn't just not come home. If she wasn't gonna come home, she would have let me know, hey, I'm not coming home tonight. Don't worry about me, I'm good. But she got no call. She got no text. She knew something was wrong, so she called the police. Months before Annie went missing, she actually wrote, this is kind of eerie, she wrote a newspaper article called Crime and Safety in New Haven, about safety, especially for women on campus. So for her not to text her roommate, for her not to text her man, her fiance, to say, hey, I'm gonna be at the lab till 11 p.m. tonight, we caught a break in this medicine. I don't know what people do in labs because I'm not like a lab tech, like I have no clue how that shit works. But for her not to give someone a play-by-play, especially since she felt so passionate about safety, especially on a campus, just didn't sit right, especially with her roommate. She wrote this article for Yale's medical magazine. Yale had a lot of security. They had cameras everywhere. They had people walking here and there and everywhere. So when investigators got this call, they went to the campus, but they were thinking in their mind, Yale students just don't vanish in thin air. There's too much security. There's too many people walking around. It's impossible for no one to see anything, hear anything, etc. So they're looking at the very beginning of this as a bride that got cold feet. Does she not want to get married anymore? Did she just decide to run away? Was she feeling the pressure of being in grad school / the pressure of having a wedding? Was she looking for an escape? And did she decide that day on September 8th, I'm good with all of this, I'm good with my fiance, I'm good with trying to study medicine or finding the cure for cancer, I'm just gonna disappear and run away and never talk to my family and friends again or my fiance again because I just don't want to get married. That's how cops initially went into this investigation. They were thinking, we have a runaway bride. When police initially went to campus, they interviewed a bunch of people, including other lab tech. No one said they saw Annie except for one other lab tech. His name was Ray Clark. He had talked to cops. He said, yeah, I saw her around 12:45 when I was coming back from lunch. She was leaving the building. Cops didn't think much of the conversation, didn't think he was a suspect. They said he was cooperative, normal, wasn't sweating, wasn't freaking out, wasn't acting like someone that would be hiding anything from authorities. And the reason I'm telling you this bright and early in this true crime video is because this motherfucker is gonna come back up. I'm not spoiling the story. He's the only person that told cops that he saw Annie leaving the building on September 8th, 2009. The campus started getting alerts from the Yale police. They were looking for clues. They were asking for help. They even turned to local media, asking people for guidance if they knew any information. At one point, they offered a $10,000 reward for anyone who could give them information onto the whereabouts of Annie Lay. Now, when all this media coverage was happening, a lot of people were upset. They said if this was a community college student who had gone missing, there would be no publicity, there would be no media coverage, but because it's a Yale student, an Ivy League school, it's on every news station, it's blasted on every headline, front page of every newspaper. But had this been a regular college student who was just going to a community college and had disappeared, there would be not as much publicity, which in fact probably is true. I don't doubt that at all, but I was reading online when I was researching this case that people were in an uproar and super upset that this woman who had gone missing on an Ivy League school where there could be no wrong and the best of the best attended was getting so much media coverage. As investigators are looking around the building, they find Annie's pocketbook and her cell phone in the building. When the officers make this discovery, when detectives discover her pocketbook and her cell phone, two things no one would not like. You need those to run away. No one's gonna run away without their pocketbook or their cell phone, because like you need money and you need to, like, you know, check your Instagram. I don't know, but no one's running away without their pocketbook or cell phone. So at that moment, investigators realized, okay, the runaway bride theory is out, and they were leaning towards the assumption that something terrible happened, like murder. The FBI sets up a command post on the Yale campus. They start interviewing people that were close to Annie. In the beginning of a disappearance, the people that are closest to a missing person are usually the people that get looked at first. In this case, the closest person to Annie was her fiance, John. John finally comes to Connecticut to get questioned. But my question is, how was he not already in Connecticut? You can take a break from mathematics, dude. Your fucking future wife is missing. How the did he not already be on a plane with his backpacks tearing the city down trying to find his future wife? Even the thought of someone you love is missing. How are you not there doing anything you can to help investigators? I'm so confused. That's my question. Needless to say, that was suspect in itself, and the cops were also suspect of the fact, like, why aren't you here looking for your future wife with us? So he gets into Connecticut, he gets questioned. He has an alibi, his alibi checks out. He even takes a polygraph test and he passes the polygraph. He was ruled out as a suspect pretty much right at the beginning of their investigation. So the fiance, who, I mean, people would have been like, oh, maybe he didn't want to get married so he killed her, you know, that type of theory, he got ruled out. Not an option, it wasn't the fiance, so now cops are like, okay, so then who did it and why? When investigators are going through the security footage, they see Annie walking into a lab building on 10 Amistad Street at approximately 10:09 in the morning. At 10:11 in the morning, she uses her key card, because in the lab building, everyone has to use key cards to get into a room. It's basically security in itself, so people can track where someone was throughout their day, if need be. She uses her key card at 10:11 in the morning to get into a particular room in the building. After that, her card was never used again. September 10th rolls around, she's still missing. Investigators are perplexed at this point. They're like, okay, it has to do with her weddings. This has to do with, like, maybe she was having an affair, maybe she had a lover, maybe the lover got jealous, maybe the lover killed her. We need to check everything of hers to see if in fact she had something else going on. They check her phone, they check her email, they check every little detail of her things, her shit, her personal messages, and they find nothing. The only messages are from friends and family and from her fiance. She was not having an affair, there was no evidence of an affair, so that theory was ruled out. At this point, investigators believe something really violent happened to her, something terrible happened to her. They know that the outcome of this was not going to be good. So Connecticut State Police were called to the campus to treat the facility, the lab building, 10 Amistad Street, as a crime scene. They needed to process the entire building. The question they were trying to answer was, did somebody hurt her in this building? Investigators rewatched the security footage again. And when they're watching the security footage, they realize that around 12:30, herds of people were leaving the building at the same exact time. But it wasn't because everyone was going on their lunch break, it was because the fire alarm went off. People were having their hands in their ears like this, this and leaving in both. And as they were watching the security footage and watching every single person leaving the building, there was no sight of Annie. She never left. During the fire alarm, Annie did not exit the building. One of the lead detectives on this case went home one of the nights of the investigation, and his daughter was like, "Hey dad, look at my new gymnastics trick." And as he was watching her perform her new gymnastics trick, he realized, oh my god, my daughter is about the same height and the same weight as Annie Lay. So he asked his daughter to lay on the ground. So she's like, okay. So he lays her on the ground, picks her up, throws his daughter over his shoulder, and makes the realization that, oh my god, whoever murdered Annie, she was so tiny, so light, could have thrown her over his shoulder and threw her in the trash. So he brings this revelation to the other detectives, and detectives are like, okay, let's figure out where all the trash goes from this particular lab building and search those areas. So that's exactly what they do. They search all the areas. So investigators check all the areas where the trash could have been sent from that building, from the particular lab building that she was at the day she disappeared. There was no sight of her. They could not find her. One of the detectives on the case noticed that there was a lot of key card movement for a particular room in the building marked G22. G22 was actually a storage room. He said it was a storage room. He takes a team in there and he tells them, let's shut off the lights, let's use our flashlights, let's search this entire room. There has to be some answers in here. So they shut the lights off, they use their flashlights, they're looking at every inch of the room. Lo and behold, someone on his team finds a brown bead on the floor. On the security footage of Annie entering the building on 10 Amistad Street on September 8th, 2009, she was wearing a brown beaded necklace. So that was a piece of her in that room. They knew at some point, Annie must have been in this room because a part of her necklace was. In the storage room, investigators move a rolling stainless steel cart. They rolled it out of the way, and behind the cart was a white wall, and on the white wall was splattered blood. Blood was all over the wall. The entire building is now completely locked down. Investigators are going to search this building inch to inch. They also begin to investigate whose key cards were used to get into the storage room. And they narrowed it down to 3 people. 2 contractors that worked frequently in the building, and the lab tech, Ray Clark, who initially interviewed the day she went missing and told police he saw Annie at 12:45 when he was coming back from lunch and she was leaving. The 2 contractors both had alibis. Those alibis were confirmed and they were ruled out. So the only person left as a suspect was Ray Clark. Again, Ray Clark agrees to be questioned. He's cooperative, he's friendly, he even agrees to a polygraph. But cops already know he's lying, because he told investigators that he saw Annie at 12:45 leaving the building when he was returning from lunch. But Annie never left the building, ever. So Ray takes a polygraph test. He's confident, takes it willingly. He fails the polygraph test. They let him know, dude, you failed the polygraph. He immediately lawyers up. So investigators go back and they rewatch the security footage again. And they see Ray Clark leave the building, walk across the street, go to a park, sit on the stairs at the park, and put his head in his hands. He looks stressed. He looks like a person that just did something where he f***ed up. He looks guilty. Ray Clark was not a student at Yale. He was actually a lab tech, and he worked with Annie multiple times. They worked in the same lab frequently. I don't know. We don't know. I don't think anyone knows how often they talked, what type of relationship they had, but he did work in the same lab as Annie. So I imagine they spoke ever so often. I don't know if they were friendly with each other. I don't know anything about their relationship, but he did email her once, because I guess he had a really bad temper and got upset when students would not pick up the lab when they were done using it. And at one point he emailed Annie and was upset with her for leaving dirty mice cages and told her not to do that anymore. So at some point they did have some form of communication. On September 13th, 2009, on the day which would have been her wedding to the man of her dreams, her college sweetheart, Annie Lay's body was found. One of the investigators walked into a bathroom and he smelled a really foul smell. And as a cop who has been on the job for multiple years, he realized that that smell was that of decomposition. So he started searching the bathroom, trying to figure out, where is this smell coming from? Behind the toilet was a metal mechanical panel. He opens it. There's blood splattered on the inside door of the panel. Screws were popped off so it was loose. And inside the mechanical panel was yellow insulation. So he moves the yellow insulation and there he found Annie Lee's body. Annie was upside down. You could see her feet. She had one sock on and she was partially clothed. The panel was very small. It was the size of about 2 or 3 shoeboxes. The killer had shoved her into this panel. One of the detectives described her as mush, said that Annie had been so smushed in this small space that her body became almost unrecognizable. Medical examiners determined her death to be a homicide by strangulation. She also had a broken jaw and a broken collarbone, which were injuries she received while she was still alive. Her bra was pushed up, her panties were pushed down to her ankles, and detectives also found semen on the inside of her panty liners and on other areas of her body. The reason the fire alarm went off that day is they had these big, almost like washer machines, like dishwasher kind of things, and he stuck his clothes in there and his boots to wash off Annie's blood, and it set off the fire alarms, because I guess if it gets really hot, it sets off the fire alarm. So the day of Annie's murder, he tried to wash her blood off his clothes, and it triggered the fire alarm, which made everyone exit the building. They also matched his DNA to the semen in her underwear and on her body. On September 17, 2009, 4 days after they discovered the body of Annie Lee, Raymond Clark was arrested for her murder. At trial, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted sexual assault. He was sentenced to 44 years in prison. He apologized to Annie's family, his own family, and to his fiance. Yep, that's right. He had a fiance sitting right with his mom and dad in courtroom. Till this day, Raymond Clark has never told anybody why he committed the murder, what happened between them two, what conversations were exchanged, or why the fuck he did what he did. No one on this planet has an explanation as to why this man killed her on September 8th, 2009. Nobody knows. He has yet to tell anybody why he did what he did. He has only apologized, and onlookers described his apology as forced, and it seemed like he had no remorse. Like he was happy he killed her. Theorists and theories are that he worked with Annie, grew this obsession with Annie, and on the day of September 8th, they had some type of exchange. Maybe he confessed his love and didn't want her to get married, and she turned him down, and he snapped and killed her and didn't want her to be with anyone else. He couldn't stomach her being with anybody else. But we don't know. He's never literally told anybody why he killed her. There's no evidence besides one email telling her not to leave dirty mice cages in the lab room of them ever having any type of relationship. So I don't have a clue. This is a mystery to me. It's one of the worst things imaginable. She was so cute. She looked so innocent. She probably would have went on to discover a cure for cancer or do amazing things, maybe even win a Nobel Peace Prize, got married, maybe have gotten divorced, had 500 children, who knows, but to be murdered on a campus, nobody there to help you or save you or protect you, and then to be smushed into a 2x2 little tiny panel is unimaginable. This is a pretty gnarly true crime story. I don't know. I tried to research everything and anything of what her husband was doing now, but I couldn't find anything. I don't know if he got me remarried. I don't know anything, but he's in low-key whack for literally not being in Connecticut the day he got a call or text that his soon-to-be wife was missing. Fuck him. Her family sued Yale University and settled for an undisclosed amount of money, which is probably because it's in a lawsuit that they can't tell anyone how much they earned. I imagine it's probably millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And Raymond Clark was just sitting in a jail cell. How he only got 44 years for brutally murdering somebody and steering investigators in a, like, not helping with an investigation is beyond me. And for attempted sexual assault, how do you like kill someone and attempt to sexually assault them and you only get 44 years? I don't understand. I don't understand. But whatever, everyone be safe. This is not a joke. We gotta do what we can to protect ourselves, especially from men that could be bigger than us or stronger than us. You just never know who's lurking behind you or who you work with every day that's obsessed with you or planning whatever with you. You just gotta be careful. So ladies, be safe out there. Do what you can. Carry pepper spray, carry a pocket knife, carry something to protect you, or at least get a head start into screaming for help, because you just never know what creepy mother is gonna be plotting some shit against you, because this seems like a dude that was plotting either an attempt at a shot with her, or I don't know if it's a crime of passion, because I don't know what conversation they had. He hasn't said anything. It's really hard for me to give my opinion because there's so many different scenarios. One scenario could be a crime of passion. They had a conversation and he had such a bad temper he snapped in the middle of the conversation and killed her. But her bra was up and her panties were down, and at some point he came on her. Like his semen was on her body. And as she tried to fight back, because she did have a broken jaw and a broken collarbone, he then realized, oh my gosh, she's gonna tell people I did this to her and I have to kill her now, and then killed her. I don't know, there's so many options. You guys comment below what you think happened in that lab room on 10 Amistad Street on September 8th, 2009. And God bless her family. I can't imagine that's just something you'll just never get over. You'll just never get over it. And may she rest in peace. God bless her beautiful soul. And that's the true crime of this week. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but as I always say, if you're giving it a thumbs down, you probably shouldn't be on this channel. But if you are going to be here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell, because if you don't hit that bell, you will not get notifications. And if you don't get notifications, what is the point? Follow my social media. All of them are in the description box below. But most importantly, subscribe to my Wave channel. Vlogmas has started. It is going. It is popping. We have day 5. Well, I'm filming on day 5, but by the time this is up, it'll probably be day 7. So we have a whole week of Vlogmas up on the channel. So go in the description box, subscribe, get extra content from Gabby and I. And yeah, I love you guys to the moon and back. Be safe. Be careful. This world is a up place, and don't you ever forget it.